If you're ready to experience more peace and joy in your life, if you want to feel more comfortable in your own skin, and if you're ready to discover and expand on your energetic gifts and personal power, you're in the right place. So here's your host, Kelle Sparta.
Welcome back to Spirit Guides. I'm your host, Kelle Sparta, transformational shaman and spiritual coach, spiritual business coach. Yeah, I can talk. And we are here as always on Ascend Fridays to prove that the magic works. And so today, my good friend Bunny Young, who is the business therapist and runs this wonderful program called Defy, is here, and she has graciously offered to be my guinea pig for this because I know Bunny's got a great business, and I wanted to be able to have somebody on the show who was already up and running and doing well, and to show what the next level of the work is. So thanks for coming, Bunny. Good to see you, honey.
Yes, this is great to spend time with you and have you crack into all the businesses, one of the businesses. Let's do this.
Yeah. So you said all of the businesses. Do you want to define what those are so that we can be clear?
Yeah. For clarity of energy, there's 7 companies right now, and you're familiar with all of them. But for those of you listening, there's A Better Place, which does well-being in the workplace consulting for organizations and corporations, and does well-being coaching for entrepreneurs who want to build a business that works for them versus the other way around.
Right.
And then we have a nonprofit called Possible that consults with major airlines, restaurants, and hotel groups on how to service animal etiquette when interacting with individuals that have service animals. So we don't train service dogs, but we train companies on how to interact with individuals. And then there's 2 real estate LLCs, and there's a tech company called Coaches HQ that is basically a content production and marketing machine for coaches. And there's Boss on Purpose, which is a online entrepreneur community, Starfish Capital, which is an investment company for entrepreneurship. And if I'm missing one, I think that's okay.
Okay. So in case you missed it, Bunny's not boring.
Yeah. I'm sure I missed one. Whoever's listening to this, did you count 7? If not, let me know, because I might have missed one.
That's okay. We'll just lump them together.
Yeah.
And we'll take a look. So I should have been writing those down because my brain's not going to hold that, but that's all right. I know most of them by heart anyway. So let's see what we find. All right. So you're familiar with the chakra system, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I be friends with you and not be familiar with the chakra system?
I doubt that. Yeah, I doubt that very much. We have a funny story about how we met. The universe literally lined us up because Bunny is not like the super social person to make new friends places. And she's like, no, I'm good. I've got plenty of friends. And then I swear to God, I was talking to you and you said we should get together. And I was like, yeah, okay. And so I showed up at your offices and you're like, what are you doing here? I'm like, you told me to come. And you were like, no, I didn't. And I was like, yeah, you did.
And you wanted to help me with my marriage, which was funny because out of all the things that we have ever spoken about and worked on in my life, like in our friendship, all of the conversations that we've had, the hundreds of hours, I don't think we've ever talked about my marriage.
I don't even remember saying that.
And yet here we are. Yeah. At that time, it was like 2018. You were working with couples.
Yeah. I mean, it's so funny because Spirit literally just like made us hear what we wanted to hear, what we needed to hear so that we would be friends, which is hysterical. So
yes.
So we both just sort of went with it. We're like, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah, this is how it is. So, okay, let's get this party started. So I just need permission so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into your energy field. I'm going to look at it from the outside, and then I'm going to come into your aura, and I'll tell you what's going on in the aura. And then I'll come into the chakras individually, starting at the 7th and working my way down. And what I'm looking for is any blocks or any themes that need to be addressed, things like that. And from there, and then I'll ask if there's anything extra. I've got a whole protocol that I've developed because I've done like 3,000 of these things. And that is not an exaggeration. So
What I heard you say is I'm not special. It's okay.
what I was going to say is I have a protocol that I've done, and then I'll ask if there's anything specific to you that I've missed, and then we'll look from there. So each way along the way, I'm looking for that too. So I have a protocol of things that I have seen are common for people to have, and then I work from there. So
Beautiful.
of course you're special, darling. I love you.
Beautiful. Let's do this.
Okay.
Do me.
All right. Do I have permission to enter into your energy field for the purposes of this reading?
Absolutely.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I'll be right there. Fair warning, I've been told I tickle. Okay, so as I approach your aura, the first thing I see is it's like all these energies circling you and occasionally coming in and going boosh, 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 boosh up against you. It's like circle, 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 boosh, 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 boosh. It's like do you remember, I don't know, do you watch Harry Potter movies? The
The
Dementors?
Dementors.
Yeah, it looks like the Dementors.
We're not even 30 seconds in.
I know, but I'm not saying that they're evil. I'm just saying that it's got that look to it. It's shadowy stuff, right? So it's there's flying around like that and then circling and whatever and coming in periodically. And so it feels like there's so honestly, what I'm feeling is this is drama, which is interesting because I don't know you to be a high drama person, but it feels like there is drama in this around drawing things to you to challenge you. And like things that go south or things that, it's almost like you get bored and you draw something in to like mess with you just so that you have something to do.
Hmm.
So
It's interesting because my experience would be that's other people's drama.
that is not the energy that I'm getting. It's definitely coming in the form of other people, but it's you drawing it in to give yourself something energy something to focus on, something to keep you busy, right?
Which is interesting because the desire was simple, right?
Right. Yeah. So this would be this would be something to look at to improve your simplicity, right? Which of course means that you need to find something engaging to do when you get bored so that you don't draw the drama in, because the drama is an entertainment for you.
Yeah.
It's something for your brain to go, ooh, yummy, yummy, right?
Yeah.
It's that. It's never actually something. I mean, it can feel catastrophic at the time, but it's literally something you're drawing in because you were bored.
Okay.
So, and coming back to so funny that you mentioned the marriage thing, but the fact that you guys are not together all the time now is actually increasing that boredom piece, because there's the we're apart and I'm lonely thing, right? That happens. But having been a military wife, I understand. Yeah. But there's this is something to pay attention to, because it doesn't feel like any of this stuff is really, it's not malevolent. It's just problems that you've brought around your edges to keep you entertained.
Okay.
So, yeah. Yeah. Anything else here? No, that's everything they want you to know. Okay, coming into the aura. Okay. So the impression that I get inside your aura is almost like you're a baby in the womb. It's this very protected, being in the amniotic sac, and so everything's sort of muffled, and there's just this heartbeat to keep you company, and all of that, right? It's this sense of gestating, right? Does that resonate for you? You're smiling and laughing and nodding. Is that relevant to you?
No.
No. Okay. Well, I will tell
I'm
you that.
trusting you.
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm just saying that this is what's showing up. So the sense here is, and it'll probably make sense as we get further along, because they usually do. If it doesn't make sense to you immediately, it will by the time we get to the end, because that's how that works. But the sense here is just this place of protection and of stillness almost. It's oh, how do I put this? Translating energy into words always fun.
Words are hard.
Yeah, words are hard. So, oh, I didn't say this, by the way. Don't worry about interrupting me. So, if you have a question or if you need clarification, ask for it in the moment. I didn't tell you that before. Yeah. So, okay.
So that's not doing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I say that as much for the listeners going, would she stop interrupting her? No, I like her to interrupt me, right? That's what I want. So I want to know in the moment. Okay. So give me the energy on this. What is going on here? It really is just sort of it's like a waiting. And I know that seems weird because you are go, go, go girl. You've always got stuff
Yeah.
going on, but it
I
feels
mean,
like
what you and I had talked about was kind of this next level, which is
yeah.
interesting for my life because I have a copious amount. So I think what is coming to me as you say that is maybe not necessarily a rebirth, but like this stillness before entering that next level.
Yeah.
Which kind of goes with the boredom. I don't sense that I'm bored, and I do sense that life is a little calmer right now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of what I'm sensing when you say that, is just like that safety before entering out into this new world. And then of course the thing that came to mind is we just had our son. So,
Right. Yeah.
I think very much there's baby energy around me right now.
There is, but this is not that.
Yeah.
This
Those were
is
just the
you.
two things that kind of
Yeah.
came through as you were describing that.
Yeah. Yeah. This is you in the womb, not you having a baby. So this is, yeah, it does feel more like the first thing. It feels very much about the sort of still before the coming into the new space, right? And so the thing is to find comfort in the stillness.
Yeah.
Because you said when we talked before this, because I was asking you what kind of reading you wanted, you said that you wanted simplicity, right? And simplicity requires a lot more stillness
Yeah.
because your default mode is to be move, 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 and with kids and businesses and everything else, that's a lot of moving. Um, do, right? And so this is about finding that place of stillness and getting comfortable there.
Yeah.
Leaning into the most comfortable place of stillness that we experience on this planet is the gestational sac, right? It's that place. It is the most comfortable, easeful, uninterrupted space of stillness. And so that is the energy that the universe is asking you to lean into in order to step into this new way of being.
Okay.
And this was something we talked about as well beforehand, was the idea of, instead of focusing on how to solve the problems, or how to define the problems and then fix them, to instead focus on the beingness of the new way of life and leaning into the answers just showing up. And
Yeah.
so, because we spend a lot of time actively looking for stuff. And my invitation here, based on what I'm seeing, is to watch and expect for the stuff to just show up without a lot of effort, right?
Yeah.
Which I know but sometimes we have to
Yeah.
be told what we already know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been and just for background for some of the listeners that I'm happy to be vulnerable about, since we've been friends, which is, wow, 6 years, 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So, prior to my brain injury, I was very much a doing person. And even if it wasn't working, it was a lot of doing.
Right.
Then after my brain injury, it was this, oh, wow, I'm making more money and more impact. And I have half the brain. Not true, but I don't operate at that executive functioning level that I used to. And it's shocked me. And I'm like, why haven't I always done life like this? Which is a micro environment. That's my macro environment, a micro environment to what this reading's saying of like the boredom and the busy circling me and me sitting in the stillness and still getting everything that I desire. You haven't said that part yet, but I know
I
that's
haven't
true.
said that yet, but we know it's true. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's fascinating to me in the time that we've known each other to kind of see that macro environment and then have it show up in like a micro of the reading. And I think that's something that you and I have talked about is I say like the lesson will repeat until the lesson's learned. And I do think it's not a completion in like a circle. It's more of that spiral.
Yep.
And I say this to my clients of we break our business to heal ourselves. And so, yeah, this is all just fascinating. And I'm here for all of the reminders.
Okay. Okay. So let me see if there's anything else in here they want me to know. What is that? You're showing me something poking through into it's almost like, an amniocentesis needle coming in to suck some of the fluid out. It's like that. There's something poking through. I'm asking them to define it for me. They won't give me an answer to it right now, but we'll see how it goes as we go through. But I'm going to look for that as we get further into the process because I saw it and then they were like, nope, not going to talk about it right now. I'm like, okay. So basically, the impression of it is this disruption of the stillness, the peace, right? It's like a single thing that's poking through and disrupting the peace.
Okay.
Yeah, and that may be the distance with your husband, but we'll see that as we get a little further in. We'll see.
And this is all related to the business? Like we set the intention, this is all related to business stuff,
Well,
right?
so when I do a read at this level, because of your business being mostly you, if you were running a massive corporation with tons and tons of different people in it, then that would be a different read. But because your business is mostly you and your business are intertwined. So this is a personal / business read because your business is made from your energy and vice versa, and it reflects back. So yeah. So, okay. All right, let's see. Oh, wait a minute. So you're talking about scaling to 5, right?
Scaling in a non-traditional fashion in the aspect that just focusing only on that as an offer and scaling back the amount of one-to-one and any focus on other programs.
Okay. It feels like so there's another piece to this, and I think no, that was somebody else. There's a point at which when your business grows to a certain level and you have to start bringing on other people and letting go of a lot of the base level stuff. There's a point at which your business needs to be birthed out of you because women have a tendency to hold their businesses in their bodies. And so, like, we gestate our businesses, right? And so, when a business gets big enough, you have to remove it from your body in order for it to continue to grow. And so, I'm also getting that overlay on this from the business side that there's going to this period of quiet and whatever is going to also evolve into the need to birth the business. Okay. And so that means, actively releasing its energy from your body and allowing it to become its own entity and allowing other people to come in and influence it and things like that as you hire on additional staff and things. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So that was the other piece there. Okay. Anything else? No. Okay. So let's come up into the 7th chakra. All right. Good energy flow in, good energy flow out, nice connection. I'm just going to check your root for grounding at the same time because that just makes sense. Okay. Yeah, there is active energy flow from the root. It just doesn't. How do I say this? You've got energy flowing from the root, but it doesn't feel grounded. How is that possible? Because that's the definition. Are you physically moving again?
What do you mean?
Like moving your physical
Oh, you and I talked about Puerto Rico, but that's not for like 5 years.
Yeah.
I might buy the house across the street in California,
Okay.
but I won't be moving my butt there.
Okay.
That's an investment.
Okay. No, this is weird. Why does this not feel grounded? That doesn't make any sense. I've never had this show up. Hold on. Let me see what's going on here. Do you have sort of I know you have 2 homes that you go back and forth between. So that's sort of a sense of nomadness, right?
Mm.
So that could be what I'm seeing. It's just you're pulling energy in through your root chakra, but it's not earth energy. That face is exactly how I'm feeling, right? I'm like, what?
Well, and you also know that I'm a mermaid, so.
Oh, well, yeah, right. That's true. Yeah.
Is it ocean energy?
Yes, it is. That makes more sense. Okay. Wow. You're the only person I've ever seen who does this.
That's because
But you've got energy coming in, so it's good. You're balanced, right? Yeah. That's fascinating.
Well, and you and I have talked about this. Like, people think I'm kidding when I'm like, A, I can't live in a landlocked state.
Yeah.
And B, and you're talking maybe weeks at the most between ocean trips.
Yeah.
Otherwise, my life force starts draining.
Yeah. Well, that's because you're grounded into the ocean.
And so people are just like, oh, that's funny. Haha. And I'm like, no, literally, I dry out. You have to throw me back in the ocean.
Yeah. Yep. That would be valid based on what I'm seeing. So, okay. Let's see here. What else is going on here? Good connection to the masculine energy. Not surprising. No mind on overdrive. That's good. Yeah, you're channeling all the time. So that's entertaining. Yeah, this chakra looks good. We're rock and rolling here. Guides, solid connection to guides, solid connection to higher self, rock and roll. All right. Anything else in here I need to see? Nope. That's everything coming down into the 6th chakra, the 3rd eye. Let's check your transmitter. Interesting. Okay. What is the block? There is a block on the transmitter. So the transmitter is what we use to go out to the Akashic records and grab the information we need and drag it back. And there's a block on the transmitter. And where is that from? It's a disbelief. It's a nah. I know you don't disbelieve in psychic abilities. It's a Feels like a disbelief in your own ability to do it, which is interesting because you're so chapped in
Is
on
it
the
mine?
crown. Is it yours?
Yeah.
Hmm. So the reason it's taking me so long to answer is because the answer is it is and it isn't.
Yeah.
So it
So,
feels like somebody else's that you bought into.
so I don't know if I necessarily bought into it. It was a source of fracture in like an intergenerational relationship. So when
Okay.
my aunt passed away from this world, and I still had such a connection to her, like
Mhm.
seeing her conversations that it's changed, and I still have this connection to this day. However, I think as a little girl, I needed to see her in this physical human form to kind of comprehend what was going on. And when I shared that with my mom and my mom put me in therapy. And no, my mom and my grandmother. And my grandmother, they both just kind of, it was a very, I think it was a sense of like not being able to metabolize that information. And so therefore I had to be made wrong in order to make it safe for them. And
Right.
and the sense that I had from them when I was younger was like she needed to be dead so they could grieve. And what was going on with my relationship with my aunt was almost like this purgatory. And I don't know if my mom has said this in words or if it's a sense. And, I don't know that she'll ever listen to this either. So I don't feel like I'm violating there. But she said, like, it was a sense of like, why didn't she come to her? She was her sister. So why didn't she come to her? Like, why did she come to me? And so I think that when I say like, it's not necessarily my disbelief, there was a lot of energy that it took to not shut down that gift and to not ignore that gift. And the only time that I felt frustration with that gift was when I lost my best friend in high school, and it didn't automatically happen with him.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was difficult for me because I just thought this was a thing.
Right.
And it is a thing. And it's a thing with my aunt, and it's a thing with other energies.
Yeah.
However, it's not automatic. It's like, of course it's divine, right? Like
Yeah.
in the right timing. And there's definitely for my mom and my grandmother, this like, you can't do that.
Right.
So
So, all right, let's get this gone then because it doesn't need to be here. So, what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes and I want you to imagine this block that's on your third eye. And I want you to hand it back to your mom and your grandmother and say, thanks, but no thanks. I'm good. All right, there we go. Ooh, that's like impacting my whole face here. And just see them receiving it back and saying that they did it out of love. They gave this to you out of love and fear, but fear based love.
yeah,
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
I had this visual of like, remember like the old pool lights that were like kind of reflective diamond shape with like all the different texture on it?
Hmm.
Was like a small one of that is so freaking bright, but then there's this tiny black like sticky on it. And it's like they tried their best to cover it, but it wasn't super possible. And so it was just kind of on like part of it. And I gave it back to my grandmother because I think that ultimately the energy came from my grandmother
Okay.
and it helped energetically to specifically focus on my grandmother. And she was just so small in comparison to who I am now.
Yeah.
And yeah. So, and then the light got all golden and bright.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Let me check the transmitter again now. Interesting. I see the light. The energy is no longer blocked, but it also doesn't want to go anywhere. So let me look at something else in the chakra. Give me a second. Well, let me check the receiver first. Oh yeah, receiver's wide open. Like so much. Okay. So the receiver is what you think of as your intuition. Okay, it's the things that you pick up on the environment around you. Okay, let me look at this. Let me see this other piece in here. Okay, trust in the universe and yourself looks great. So there's I don't really want to call it that. Normally, I'm looking for fear of your own power, and you don't have a fear of your own power, but you do have something challenged in that general vicinity. So let me see what that is. Hold on. All right. So you have a past life where you died for your gifts, and it is not causing a fear of your own power, but it's literally, she's like, fuck this. I'm not doing this again. That was the answer that I got when I went to it. And so she's still there and she's like, and so that's why there's like no interest in doing that work that way, because that's how she did her primary work, is through the transmitter, right? She was good at doing the Akashic records run and doing, going out and getting the information she needed and pulling it back. She was a healer. She was an amazing healer. And she got killed for her gifts. Everybody loved her until they all turned on her one day. And she was like, what the fuck? Right. She was so angry and so upset. And she's just like, screw them. They don't deserve me. Right. That's what it came down to. And that's where the resistance is coming from. So you are wide open. So there's multiple ways to get your information. Right. And I know you know this, but I'm going to explain this for the people listening. The crown chakra is where you hear from your guides, is where you hear from your higher self. It's oftentimes where you hear from mediumship from, and channeling. And then the third eye is the Akashic records on the transmitter side, and then on the receiver side, it's the intuition, right? And so right now you have big ability, massive ability, but you have zero desire because of this past life. And so if you want to open that back up again, and you've got so many gifts going on right now that I'm not sure it's really necessary, but if you want to open it up again, then you're going to have to negotiate with her to do that. Because right now she's like,
Well, it's so interesting that we're having this conversation because you know intimately that I feel like I've hidden all of my gifts in this business coaching package.
Yeah.
And even during that retreat last week, it's the first time that I did the retreat with zero business. And I do like being able to parlay the healing directly into business. And I think that that's always going to be a part of me, at least in this life. And that feels good. I do feel like I'm leaning more into just owning the gifts and not having to hide behind business. And I feel like that's happening organically. And so my sense is that at some time in the future, she may give me the blessing. And right now, I don't feel like I need to convince her because life's really good and I'm able to yes and the healing gifts within business. And I think that that helps people as well.
Yeah. No, totally agreed. As I said, this is optional, not required.
Yeah. Great.
So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to negotiate with me? It doesn't go well. So I don't know if I want to try to negotiate with a super powerful healer version of me.
Just for the record, you are the super powerful healer version of
know.
you too, just so you know.
I
So
know.
if anybody can do it, it's you.
I know. I know. But I've gone up against myself many times. I have said since I was young that I think I was decapitated. And that's why I have a thing against like people touching my neck.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that's what happened to her.
Well, and there's another piece to that, which is the base of your skull is the place of possession. And so that's another reason to avoid people touching your neck. Right. Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's no me gusta.
Yeah. So, okay, let's see. Anything else in here that we need to know about?
Are they allowed to touch the front of my neck? Because if we went into some other areas of my life, that's pretty enjoyable.
Well, the front of your neck is not where your possession point is. It's also not usually where you would have been decapitated from.
Cool.
It usually comes in through the back of the neck. So
I'll let Steve know.
It's hysterical. All right.
Your listeners are like, we're never having Bunny on again.
Oh, no, they love you. We are real here. We do the real shit here. All right. Okay. Anything else in this chakra? No. Okay. Coming down into the 5th chakra. So self-expression. I usually get this one physically, so give me a second. I've never had my tongue stick out on this.
You're welcome.
I love you. I can't believe we haven't done this before. So the mouth opened up, the tongue was sticking out. It was almost like what I felt like is are you familiar with lion's pose in yoga? Where
yeah,
it's like
and lion's breath. Yeah.
Right? It felt like the beginning of that.
Yeah.
And it's this sense of fierceness, just like putting it all out there sort of thing. It reminds me of haka, right? All of that, from the Maori, right? It reminds me of the sort of like the warrior dance, right? And it's not like that intense, but it's definitely the beginning of that intense. It's like a lean into that intense. It's a much more chill form of that intense, but it doesn't feel like it's necessarily heading into that, because it doesn't feel, it's not like it's super warrior energy, right? It feels like it was super warrior energy earlier in your life, but that it's sort of relaxed now, right? It's still there. You're still the biggest bad in the room, right? But you're at the grizzled old warrior stage where you're like, somebody comes up to mess with you and you're like, go away, kid, you bother me, right? Oh, you still want to poke at me? Okay, well, just sit down. I'll buy you a beer. Okay, let's just drink together. I don't want to fight you. I don't have the, this is not going to go well, for you, right? It's like, no, I know you want to test yourself against me, but I'm bored, right? I could tell by looking at you that you're not going to be fun for me. Yeah, it's that sort of thing. And that's lovely. That's a great place to be, because you don't worry about the challenges that come in your direction, because you're like, yeah, I got this, right?
Yeah.
And so there's that. But this actually builds into the thing I was talking about with the Dementors, right? With that boredom piece. It's like, go away, kid, you bother me. It's there's no longer the need to prove yourself. There's no longer that sort of, it's like you've hit the grizzled old warrior and you're transitioning into the spiritual warrior space. And that transition is part of the letting go of the Dementor stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's the energy there. Okay, coming into, let's see what else is in here. Hell no to the people pleasing communication. Hell no to the dependence and asking permission.
The dependence on what?
Dependence and asking permission.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are hell no's. The there's a piece in here. Trying to figure out what it is. It's running away from me. So the piece that I was looking at was hiding your true self, unwilling to be vulnerable, right? Which is not surprising. I would expect that might be in there because of the past life woman in your sixth chakra, because she's like, no, you don't get to see me, right? But it's not exactly that. It's, what is it? It's running away from me as I go looking for it. It's literally hiding that much. Just the whole block is hiding from me. It's okay, so it's a deeper level. It's not the superficial being seen in the world thing. It's the knowing who I am thing. Right? It's almost like, you know how in the Merlin stories there's the you don't tell anybody your true name because then they have power over you sort of thing?
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's the you don't get my true name. I'm hiding my true name from you sort of thing. It's that energy. And it does feel like it's related to her. It is and it isn't. It was one of her past lives. So because she was an herbalist healer. She was not a magician. And this is a magician thing, right?
Which the amount of times I've been called a magician.
Yeah. So there you go. So, but it's your name is your word of power sort of thing to magicians. And so you don't share your true name with anyone because that is your power, right? So that's sort of the energy. That's why it was hiding from me, is because it's like, oh, you're going to name magician and now it's known that there's something to look for, blah, blah, blah. So I was looking for that. So, but yeah, that's the piece that is hiding, is that the owning of your name of power sort of thing. You are interesting. You're a whole bunch of things I've never seen before. So
Welcome.
thank you. So, okay, they're bringing it back to business. So why is this relevant to business? Let me look. Interesting. What's that about? The sense is that the reason that this is there is that the discovery of this name unlocks and undoes everything you've ever done in business, which is interesting. It's almost like you did a working in a past life to be successful in business in this one, and that it's tied to that.
Yeah, so we don't need to find that name.
So yeah, we're not looking for the name. I'm not looking for the name. We don't need to find it. It's fine. I'm just letting you know it's there. So showed up. Fascinating. Okay.
It's hiding.
What's that?
It's hiding.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anything else in the chakra that I need to know about? Let's see. What is that? I was curious about the working. So I asked if there was anything I should know about the working and how it worked and stuff. And it sent me this like little blue light It's almost like a little fairy light. But that's it. I don't know.
Okay.
So, okay. So whatever you did for the working, you did it with the fairies. So there you go.
Probably why
All
I
right.
love Tinkerbell.
Say again?
Probably why I love Tinkerbell.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say was Tinkerbell. That's so funny.
With the sass.
Yeah. Oh, of course, we all love the sass, right? She's badass.
I do. I do.
Okay. All right. I think that's everything in this chakra. Yes. Yes. Okay. Coming down into the heart chakra. Good energy flowing out. Energy coming in is more restrictive. It's not closed by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just not as open as the energy going out. So, I mean, you're not blocked here. It's just the invitation would be to open to receive more love in your life. So, it's not like you're not receiving it, but you could receive more. There's room for more.
Yeah.
So, nothing wrong with it. Just, optimization, right?
Yes.
So, okay. Let's see here. No. Yeah, there's still some unprocessed grief in your heart. I'll send you my sound healing for clearing grief,
Okay.
and you can use that to do some work on that. It's not blocking you, but it's there, and it should be released. So, let's see, anything else? I can feel the remnants of a not lovable story, but it's basically been dealt with. So, yeah. Okay. That's everything in this chakra. I said everything. Let me check. Yep. That's everything. Anything related to the business? Okay. So here's the they do have a warning for you in the business. Your heart causes you to overextend yourself in the pausables business. So, and they're saying that has an impact on your physical heart. So, to be careful. Yeah, everything else seems to be in balance. That's not a problem. It's wait, you have a horse one too, right? Or is that's no.
No, the equine retreats are a part of AVP.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So, yeah, anything related to the animals is where you get out of balance, and they're saying be careful. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Anything else? No. Okay. Coming down into the third chakra. All right. We're going to start with the identity first. I love this. I looked at the identity and you grew to be like gigantic, and you had on a Wonder Woman outfit with a cape and your arms at your sides, and just the cape was billowing out into the back, and you're like Superwoman, Wonder Woman, it's that whole thing. It was, yeah, it's a combination of Superwoman and Wonder Woman, which is really funny because, we know the difference. But yeah.
Wait, what is the difference? I
Between
don't know the difference.
You don't know the difference?
Oh, I don't watch TV.
Oh, Superwoman is from a different planet. She's an alien like Superman, and she's just got extra skills, because she is an alien, and so she's got all the Superman powers, right? You know who Superman is, right?
I do know who Superman
Okay.
is.
All right. And then Wonder Woman is a goddess. She
Oh,
is
yeah.
from the Amazonian tribe, and she
rides
depends
horses.
on how you look at her, but she's either Amazonian or she is the goddess Diana. Either way, she's badass warrior, right? So, with the gold bracelets that, deflect bullets and the lasso of truth and the whole thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I like that. I like that one.
Very
Although I'm not opposed to being an alien
yeah.
as well.
Well, but it's a combo.
Okay. So I'm an alien goddess.
An alien goddess.
Received.
Yeah. Alien and a goddess of the earth. And an
So
Amazonian warrior. So it's like that combination.
yes, surrounded
Yeah.
by fairies.
Surrounded by fairies.
There's that.
Yeah.
You're amazing enough to stay in my energy when I tell you this joke. Do you know, it's not a bad joke, which I know is surprising coming from me. Do you
Yes,
know,
I've heard many of your jokes. I can attest.
I know. No, this one's okay. This is like, you could tell in elementary school.
Okay.
Do you know the only person who knows Clark Kent's true identity?
His optometrist.
Yes. Yes. You win. You win. Which
I was like,
for the
oh, I know
record,
that one. I can tell, like, glasses off.
just taking the
That's
glasses
because I'm blind
off.
as a bat.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
That's the only way to hide your identity? Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Well, whatever. So yeah, that and not being in the costume, right? It's the
Gosh.
somebody else's problem field, right? Do you ever read
So-
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
No, but I do know 42 is the answer to everything.
Yes. Well, so the somebody else's problem field is one of my favorite things because they tried for generations to find an invisibility field, and it was just way too complicated, way too hard. And then what they discovered is all they really need is a 9-volt battery and a somebody else's problem field, and suddenly everything becomes invisible. It's like, oh, that's not my problem.
That's beautiful.
Isn't
I
that
actually
funny?
do really like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is why we love Douglas Adams. Anyway. All right. So I think that identity speaks for itself. I don't need to go there. I think we're good with that. Let's go in and look at the inner child. Do daisies mean anything to you?
Daisies.
It's interesting. This is the second reading I've done where a child was holding a daisy. That's interesting. I don't know. I think I need to look up daisies and see what that is. But
Okay.
does it mean anything to you personally?
I would have to ask my mom, but I think daisies is my aunt. I think that those were maybe those were lilies. I don't know.
Yeah. She is also gigantic, which is interesting. I don't normally see that. She's like
Yeah.
a giantess child, right?
You're gonna make me look up what are daisies.
So
It's like
but
I
yeah,
ignored it. And then okay, innocence and purity
okay.
wouldn't have been the top acronyms that I would have used to describe me. And
As a child,
yeah. Still not one of the top acronyms. New beginnings,
there we go.
true love,
Yeah.
childbirth, comfort, loyalty, the sun. In England and Scotland, daisies represent the sun. In the Victorian era, daisies symbolize loyalty and an ability to keep secrets.
Interesting.
Sweetness, humility, and friendliness. That comes from Thailand. Motherhood and sensuality. And that's Norse mythology. Daisies symbolize motherhood and childbirth and are associated with love, sensuality, and fertility. And daisies are the birth flower of April, and their many shapes, colors, and messages make them great gifts all year round.
Okay. Well, so the one that pinged for me was the new beginnings. And
Okay.
then the Norse mythology piece also played in because I'm seeing the giantess stuff, and Norse mythology contains giants. So that piece also triggered. So
Okay.
yeah.
Hmm.
Interesting. Okay. I have a new symbol for my symbolic language with my guides. Thank you for that. So
Okay.
Okay.
So we will have to follow up on this.
Yeah.
And are you ready for a little bit of
I'm ready.
craziness?
Hit me.
And I won't know until next week.
Okay.
But we did an Akashic record reading. I did an Akashic record reading at the beginning of the year. And she was like, I think you might be having another child. You're super fertile this year, and you're not normally like this fertile. And Kelle knows we've had 10 miscarriages. So like fertility and I have a really interesting relationship where I can get pregnant, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I have a kid. And so Steve and I have been talking about it, and literally like this summer, we're like, whatever, 4 is your max tax deduction. So we're open to having another kid between now and the end of the year, like getting pregnant. So I will find out next week if we're having another kid, and the due date would be in April, which is the birth month of that Daisy.
There you go.
And when I Googled it and read all those things, it was like, the last one was like, April is the birth month of the Daisy, or Daisy is the flower of like April birth month. I don't know. I only ever knew rocks. I didn't know that months had flowers.
Yeah.
Did you know
that? No, I didn't know that. But
I don't know what October's birth flower is.
Yeah, I don't know. But I will say this, we are pre-recording this for publishing later. So by the time this comes out, I will know this answer and I will put it in the show notes for you. Okay? So you'll know. Okay.
You will know.
Okay. Well, that could also explain why she's so big, is because it's like, because she showed up as normal size and then like jumped up to larger size. So it could just be an indication of the enlarging of the family sort of thing. But
yeah, I receive all of that energetically. It's so interesting to not feel dependent on a fourth kid.
yeah.
Because a lot of the energy of having the other babies was like, I'm not going to end on a loss. Like I need to have another baby in order to like complete this energy. And there's been 2, an orange and a green, like orb that have been kind of bouncing around me. And our baby that we have right now is obviously one of those orbs.
Mhm.
So in theory, there's another one, and that could be a puppy. So I'm open for it.
Yeah. So what I will say is that in family constellation work, miscarriages are typically seen as it is too hard to come into the family dynamic because of all of the stuff coming down the family line. And that, the entities come in and they start to feel into the dynamic that they're being birthed into, and they're like, oh no, and they leave. So doing some ancestral line work could facilitate the chances of the pregnancy going to term.
Do you know anybody who's good at that?
Kathy Shiren. She does family constellation work, and that's exactly what she would help you do work on. So I will give you her contact information after the show. So
there you go.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that would definitely be helpful in that regard.
Isn't it interesting though that I'm not at all concerned about a miscarriage this time?
Yeah, it is. And the possibility is there that you've done the work, right?
Yeah.
Because, you had this child and then you've got the potential for another one. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it's interesting, but it couldn't hurt thing, right?
Oh no. No,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. So, okay. All right. Let's see if there's. All right. So that's everything from the inner child. Well, is there anything else there? Let me look. Nope. She's just super happy. I'm handing you this flower.
There you go.
She's just like, here's your Daisy, new beginnings, right? She's just, yeah.
Yeah. And that can be the business, that can be life, that can be all the things.
In my experience, it's often all the things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's just so
tend to reflect in multiple areas of your life, right?
It's just so interesting though, because, the past couple of years, there's almost like this desperation, not desperation, that's probably not the right word, but like I'm willing this into reality. I won't quit until we have another kid. And just to be in this uber relaxed space. I also was just thinking, man, Kelle, if we had done this reading 4 years ago, this would have looked like the 405 freeway.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful to have this reflected back and receive this from you right now.
Awesome. Well, everything in right timing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Okay. Let's look in the third chakra for anything impacting your power, any stories or anything that's holding you back from that. Hold on. Okay, so the martyr stuff feels like it's fading away. That it was there and now it's like I'm like watching it disintegrate, right? Let's see what else. No, that's not something. Mm-mm. Nope. Okay. Yeah, they're not showing me anything else. So the piece that came up earlier when I started to touch into this, but it's not showing in the field, which is interesting. And it may be because it's gone now.
Okay.
But there had been, based on my prior knowledge of you, this I've got to get this done before I die sort of thing. Right.
Yeah.
And it feels like that, I went looking for that in this part of the field, right? Because that's where it would show up. And it feels like you're not as focused on that anymore.
I, you know, I'll get everything that I'm supposed to get done before I die.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the worrying about it
Yeah.
doesn't
It was a
feel.
driving force for you years ago. So,
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
yeah.
And I feel like after the brain injury, plus I had something happen, recently as well that it was around my heart. And I'm like, I'm going to download as much as I possibly can into this world, period.
Yeah.
And that clock for this meat suit will expire when it's supposed to expire. But I'm not going to focus on it. I'm also not going to try to avoid it the way that, or run from it,
Yeah.
the way that I think I used to. I remember getting the diagnosis of having the heart condition. Like for those of you listening, Kelle knows that I have not one, but two heart conditions. And I remember getting that diagnosis and it was almost like a permission slip rather than a death sentence. And I feel that again, where I have this permission slip to open myself up completely and pour into those around me, yourself included. And then you get to take these gifts out into the world. I'm not supposed to leave the world with the gifts. I'm supposed to
Right.
plant them and leave them here.
Yes. Yeah. And that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like the motivation has shifted, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anything else in this chakra? Let me see. Just checking related to business. We're all good here. Okay. Coming down into the second chakra.
Here we go.
Here we go. Okay. Energy looks good. Interesting. It's hiding. I'm looking for the baby and it's hiding, right? It's like, nope, nope, nope. So that's interesting. So it feels like there is one and it's hiding because it doesn't want you to know the sex.
We've never found out the sex.
Yeah, well, but I would know. So I think that's why it's hiding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Go for it.
Yeah. No, it's not letting me see it.
So many things are hiding from you.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. That's a theme in you because, I usually see stuff pretty easy. So this is let me look at how that relates to the hiding. So the other hiding was in the fifth chakra. And that was hiding. Oh, the true name thing. Yeah. Okay. I'm like trying to figure out what it was. I was trying to remember and it was hiding from me again because it didn't want to be known in the first place. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm not seeing a theme there. So I think we're okay. Although, yeah, the hiding These are all past life related. All the things that are hiding are past life related. So that may mean that the child is part of your soul family from, past lives that you've been in. So, which is not
Open for it.
unusual, but, given that that's the theme, right? Well, they can see what they connect to, right? Okay. And then nothing in the addiction attachment area. Nothing in the shame guilt area. Yeah, everything else looks good. Anything else in this chakra? Nope. All right. So I just want to say you've got so few actual blocks so how this works is, I didn't tell you this in the beginning, but how this works is that when we come into a new level of evolution, we have a lot of blocks, right?
Yeah.
When we're about to clear a level, we have very few blocks. So based on the lack of blocks I've seen in here, you are about to up level big time. Okay. So just be aware.
I don't know why I just wagged my boobs at you.
I don't know, just because I love it, right?
I don't know. They do look fantastic. I was looking earlier. Hold on.
Yeah, they
Like,
do.
They look really like tanned and just.
Well, and just framed with your hair and
I
the white
know.
dress. It's just perfect. See, if you guys aren't listening on YouTube, you're missing out because Bunny looks amazing.
There you go. You're welcome. There's some
All right.
aspects that aren't hiding.
Yeah, and now you know why we're friends.
Yep. One of the many, many, many reasons.
Yes, decidedly. So that's hysterical. Okay. All right. Let's come down into the root chakra and wrap this puppy up here. That sounded so wrong after the boob comments.
Yeah, it's okay. Earlier you said you were going to enter me, and it took every ounce of my being to be like, keep it clean, Bunny. Keep it clean.
When I was doing Spirit Sherpa with Joey at the very
Yeah.
beginning, he used to laugh hysterically at the end of every episode because I would make all these double entendres that I was completely unaware of. And he's like, "Oh my God, you said this." And "Oh my God, you said that." I was like, "I did?" He's like, took everything I had not to laugh. And occasionally he would laugh and I'd be like, "What did I say?"
There you go.
Too many years working the Renaissance Fair and looking for double entendres. Evidently my subconscious mind got the memo.
There you go.
So, yeah. Anyway, okay, root chakra. We can do this. Okay, here we go.
We're going to get to the bottom of this.
Oh God, we will get to the bottom of this. Okay.
That was funny because never mind.
Yeah, I got you. It's fun. It was punny. Yes.
Mhm.
All right. Coming back in. We'll do this. Okay. No fears around safety and security. You're all good there. Little bit about the health stuff, right? Just a little bit. In a little bit, right? Okay. Tribe. I feel like you've lost track of some of your tribe, your tribe of friends. That your shift to being bi-coastal has sort of diminished your time to connect with your friends. It just feels like there's distance there. They're not showing up as brightly as they used to.
Okay. So here's the ironic part with that.
Okay.
And I'm open for yes anding this. Moving to California actually is where most of my family and my friends are. However, being in California, there was a human part of me that was super disappointed by how little my friends and family have made an effort to be there. Like, in fact, my friends from Nicaragua and Canada flew in to see me prior to my family and my friends. my best friend has come down to my house now. I think I've seen her twice since I've been there, which is great. So, that's better. But that took me holding like a boundary, because she was like, maybe we'll come down for Thanksgiving. And I was like, I'm going to tell you exactly how this feels, and you can do with that what you want. And then she was there 12 hours later. So, and it was not with any energy or emotion. It was more of like, I'm going to tell you how I'm perceiving this. And then I had a conversation with my uncle last week, because, we were like, hey, it's a holiday weekend. Why don't you come down? And he's like, yeah, maybe not this weekend. And that's not only slayed my mom's heart, but there's also like I think a disappointment there. So that's how I feel around friends and family in California. It's interesting because I just flew back Monday to Virginia, and the people that know that I'm now in Virginia are prioritizing seeing me. People that took for granted when I lived here.
Right.
So I do feel like that's a gift of having the bi-coastal, is and I don't mean like took for granted that I was here in a negative way. And this is true of you and I, like before you left for Panama, not having you here, the thought of not having you here made seeing you in person much more urgent.
Right.
And since you've moved, I feel like we actually talk more, because I took for granted that I would just talk to you the next week or whatever it was, because you were here in Richmond.
Right.
So I don't know that that is exactly in frequency with the feedback from the root chakra energy. However, that's been something that has been in my awareness.
Yeah. So that's interesting, because I was, yeah. And I know what you mean, because when I was in Richmond, you were the exception to this, but for me, every person I made connections with, the best I could do was see them once every 6 weeks, right? And no matter how often I tried to do it more often, they were not available, and for like 6 weeks. And I was just like, it's work to get you to actually see me. So I don't feel like I want to be friends with you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's why, one of the reasons why you're one of the only people I still talk to from Richmond. So,
Yeah.
because,
And we Marco Polo,
right. Yeah. Which is
fairly
super helpful.
often.
Yeah.
But I also have noticed that for my energy, and this is where you meet me in that, like I will go and send 6 Marco Polos in a row, and then you won't hear from me for 3 weeks.
Right.
And you're okay with that. You don't make stories in between.
No, we're busy people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all, I also think it's my energy too. Like I give you what I have when I have it. And if I were to overextend, I'm very clear that that's not an option.
Yeah.
So I'm just poking around here in my own awareness of like where I've lost. And the biggest loss for me has been time with my horses.
Mm. Yeah. That feels like the right energy. It's very interesting, because you're including them in your tribe.
Oh,
So,
they're very much, that my Guinness is going to be 9. So that's, has its own energy around it.
Yeah.
And I've contemplated putting Paul, my horse, down on this trip, because he's had EPM for 12 years. And he's a 2,000-pound Clydesdale. And so that's pretty significant for him to be carrying around health-wise, and he can no longer be ridden, and all of these stories. But I'm wrestling with, am I putting him down because I'm here? Or am I putting him down because it's the best thing for him? And like my friend who's in vet school, she's like, I think that's probably the best thing, because like, otherwise, what is he waiting for? He's having trouble moving. He can't lift his feet. He probably wouldn't be able to get up if he fell down. And the back and forth thing makes me feel like if I was living here, it wouldn't be as much of a choice, but because I'm here. Yeah. So, and I feel that struggle.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to remind you that you are able to empathically connect with him, and just ask him.
Yeah. I don't want to. That's the truth, right? I don't want to, because I don't want to lose him.
Well, I get it. But, if he's waiting for you to be here,
I know.
It'd be the thing to ask.
I know. You're going to get a Marco Polo from the ranch.
Yeah.
And it'll be like sobby too. So, and where we moved there, do we have time for like this energy field? Yeah. So, I showed you where we moved. We have those beautiful horses right behind us. And then we have these horses right next to us. And one of the horses passed away. He broke his leg and had to be put down this summer. So there's only one down there, and she's not really broke in equestrian terms. She's all by herself, and she's wearing her halter right now because she's difficult, I guess, for them to catch and lead. And she's just sitting in her stall. And I'm like, I either want to go down there and work with her to shift the energy, or I'm just turning away from that energy because I'm like, she's so special. And there's something about that mirrors back to me. And that's a lot of energy. And so, versus tuning into my horse's energy, I've had him for 12 years. That's a very simple energy because I know him and all of that. So if I don't have him to focus on, or to tell my brain that I can focus on him, then there's that Dementor that is trying to get in.
Yeah.
So can I leave the horse to her life without having to make it better?
Right. I don't know. Can you?
If I stop projecting myself on her, and it's not myself now, it was myself that felt like I was locking myself in a box with rope around my neck, and not living in my full potential. But right now, there's no argument that I'm living in that potential, and living out loud and living with all of that energy. And this is just a reminder for everybody that's listening that there's still these echoes of your previous attunement and your previous frequency it's no longer familiar, but it's super recognizable. And that it's not necessarily an addiction, but because you've traveled those neurological pathways and energetic pathways so many times in your life, it's so easy to fall back into them and recognize them in others. So, that's just an awareness, and very few people on the face of this planet have what Kelle has, and the ability to, for me to share that and for her to hold in that and understand that there's an awareness and I don't necessarily have to do anything about it.
Right. Yep. Absolutely true.
Yeah.
Well said. So,
yeah.
Okay. So we've got the tribe thing down. So we see that. And the other piece that I'm going to just reflect back to you is believe people when they tell you who they are. Right?
Tell me or show me?
Yes. Both. Showing and telling, same thing. Right? Just believe them. Don't be like, oh, I know you are somebody different, or you have the potential to be somebody different, or whatever. And I know you know this, but sometimes we've got to have it reflected. Believe them when they tell you who they are, because they are telling you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, okay. Oh, we've already done that. We've done that. We've basically done that. Okay. Let's look at the manifestation bubble. Okay. Coming up from the root. Oh, yeah. Totally cool. Rock and roll hoochie coo. No blocks. All good. But you knew that. But what's interesting is that for most people, I see it as like this column of light going up. For you, what I see is that every chakra, it goes in a ball around the chakra and then up, and then in a ball around the chakra and up. So you've got like a topiary instead of a column. Right.
Oh man, a topiary.
Do you have is it amusing, or do you have something that comes up for you with that?
It's amusing because like how often do we actually have a word or a use for that word? Like,
I know, right?
did I think topiary? Did I have topiary on my bingo card for this morning for my reading? No, I did not. So
you're welcome.
I'm gonna wait for the next ball to be called because I'm losing a bingo now. Chimney Christmas.
Oh my God, I love you so much.
I think you probably used that word like 6 times in your entire life.
Probably, yeah. But I have a vocabulary of extensive proportion, and I must use it periodically or else it
Okay.
dies.
Now I want you to sneak that into opening night somehow.
There you go. Onomatopoetic. That's my favorite word.
But you've used that one before. Topiary was like super dusty. Like topiary stood
was,
up in
yes.
your brain and was like, me? Wait, me? Right now? Are you sure? Haven't done this in a while. But here we go. Full send.
Shake it off the dust.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Wait, you're gonna put that guy in? He hasn't played in a couple years. Maybe a decade.
To be fair, I have not used onomatopoetic in at least a couple of years. So, that's fair.
I don't know. I think topiary was like sleeping.
Yeah, it pretty much was. So, but it was relevant. It was the appropriate metaphor. So,
Oh, there you go.
all right. All right. So let me just see if there's anything else here. Hold on. Nope, that's everything. Okay. So let me just, your themes are stillness and avoiding the drama of keeping your brain busy, right?
Yeah.
Finding other ways to be, stepping into the spiritual warrior out of the grizzled warrior, and allowing, finding the path of least resistance, easeful, simple. Yeah.
Did you find the block, the needle, the intrusion?
Needle. Right, the needle. Thank you for that. It was the baby. It's so you were the baby in the aura, right?
Yeah.
But then there was this thing coming in and inserting itself into the babiness, which is the actual baby. Right? Weird.
Okay.
But that's how it, yeah. It's like, but I'm the baby. But I'm the baby. Right? Yeah.
Now I just have the dinosaurs. I'm the baby, gotta love me in my head.
I don't know that one. And I'm grateful for that. I'm pretty sure I'm grateful for that because pretty much every child song is like painful. So
No, it was from our childhood. The dinosaurs like TV show.
I think I'm older than you. 'Cause I don't recognize that one.
I'll send it to you. I didn't really
Yeah.
watch it, but I just remember the annoying kid saying,
Yeah.
I'm the baby, gotta love me. Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember that one,
Anyway.
thankfully. That sounds like a jumping the shark moment like Scrappy Doo was. So
Yeah. Scrappy Doo.
Scrappy Doo was a serious jump the shark moment. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we did not need Scrappy Doo.
We did not need Scrappy. No.
So
No.
I'm so glad I didn't watch a whole lot of TV growing up. And I
Oh,
did
I
go back
watched-
to watching Bewitched as an adult with my
That's so
girls.
good,
And
though.
that lasted 3 episodes. And then I
Oh,
was
really?
like, we're never watching this again. And my girls were like, why? I said, because fortunately for us, Daddy's not Darren, and he does
Right.
not make me hide my powers or not use my powers or anything like that. And I'm not putting any more of this into your brains.
Yeah, I started watching the Gilmore Girls again because I loved it so much when it was on originally. And I didn't get very far. And I was like, wow, this is miserable and toxic. And it was just like, wow. I did watch the final movie and I was like, wow, Rory is so not who she was for the whole show. And I was so offended that, she was this other person. And I was just like, okay, I'm done. I have to be done because it's just, you can't go back evidently because I've evolved and I no longer love the show. So it was,
I've never seen an episode, so I don't
yeah,
mean to
you wouldn't like it
disappoint
now, 20 years ago, you probably would have loved it, but now you probably wouldn't like it. So
maybe I haven't watched something that I can tell you like, oh, go watch that. But
there's
books.
Actually a really good show on Netflix. I don't know what country you have to be signed in as, but it's from another country. It's from Turkey, and it's called The Other Self. And it is phenomenal.
Whoops.
And it's all about, finding yourself and uncovering yourself. And it was really, really good.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would definitely recommend that if you're looking for something to binge.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, any thoughts, anything, any questions, how it hit you, whatever.
Very few people can make me sit in front of a computer for an hour and 40 minutes. So kudos to you.
All right. So I'll take that as it was useful.
It was useful. I'm curious to see what happens with the pregnancy test and stillness, avoid the drama, spiritual warrior, allowing, easeful, simple. I wrote stillness at the top. I wrote focus on the vision because that's what I took away. I don't think those were the actual words. Believe in my power, receive more love, believe people when they tell me or show me who they are.
Yes. They're
topiary.
saying, and topiary. Yes. They're saying that the last one before topiary, believe people, is super important to business.
Okay.
To your business. They're saying that that's the reason. That's the one. I thought it was about the family stuff when I was saying it. But they're now saying pay attention around the business. So,
right.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else about the business that I need to give her? No, that was the key piece. Okay.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, that's it for this episode of Spirit Guides. Thanks so much for being with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Share this with a friend if you found this helpful. And we really appreciate you being here. And don't forget that what you focus on expands. What you intend is what you create. So choose wisely.
So that's it for today's episode of Spirit Guides Podcast. Head on over to iTunes, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen and subscribe to the show. Every week, one lucky listener who subscribes and posts a review on iTunes will be entered into a drawing for a $10,000 value grand prize and a private reading with Kelle Sparta herself. Be sure to head on over to spiritguidespodcast.com and pick up a free copy of Kelle's gift and join us on the next episode.